Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the demo talking about Unit 1 and mark making in the design class. And so far what we've talked about, just to review, is I've just been demoing on that very first sketchbook assignment on how to make lots of different varieties of marks. Let's see if we can get another page without getting back to the drawing pages. Right? Just a lot of different varieties of marks. We also talked a little bit about the art elements and how marks and surface are kind of the fundamental units behind a lot of those art elements. So now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk a little bit about surface, but before we do that, let's talk about the actual work. So you have your sketchbook assignment, where if you don't have your sketchbook yet, at least you can do this on pieces of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And on these, you're gonna have like these 4 by 4 or maybe 3 by 3 squares where you're just gonna try lots of different marks, right? And you're gonna try what I just demoed over and over again, just trying to make different mark making systems. And I think total, you're gonna have 20 different mark making systems, probably about 5, maybe 6 pages, right? And 10 of those, so 20 different mark boxes, let's call them. And 10 of those should be where you try to keep it all consistently just one system. And 10 should be layered. 10 one system and 10 layered, okay? Then afterwards, we're going to then create small little versions, 2-inch by 2-inch drawings, and then we're going to make a grid on our piece of Bristol board that I'll hand out in class on Monday. And I believe the grid is going to be a 3 by 4 grid. So it's, right? A 3 by 4 grid where you have all of those different choices that the best mark making systems you came up with from your sketchbook work. And then you've tried them out, you do them on separate pieces of paper, cut them out, and then mount them into a grid on your Bristol board. But part of the thinking here is you're gonna also have to think about the spacing and how the rhythm that you're gonna create. Are you gonna put dark values everywhere, or are you gonna have some that are really dark and maybe right there, and one that's really dark maybe right there, maybe that's not quite so dark up there, have some that are real calm and quiet, maybe right in the center, and maybe one right here that's not quite as dark as that, but very active, right? The decision of where you're going to place that and organize your grid is also critical, as well as thinking about how you might have certain activity, like this one, because of the way it's drawn, might create lines and movement that pulls us toward the center, or like the way this one might lead our eye to that one. So you're gonna have to think about all of that in terms of your arrangement to make a really nice arrangement on the page. So because of that, we need to talk about surface and page structure a little bit. Because besides marks, the other thing that is fundamental to a lot of artwork, any artwork that is drawn on a piece of paper or on a canvas, any kind of rectangular thing, we automatically have certain things that we have to deal with. We have edge, right? We got the edge of the paper itself. And then if you decide you have a border, then you have the edge to the border as well, right? So edge right there. We have center, right? Any piece of paper automatically has a location that is the center. Are you close to that center or far away from the center? And then on top of that, we have other locations that may, depending on how things are organized, be really important. Such as these kind of corner to corner diagonals and these center points, right? The center point between the center of the page and the corner, right there, right there. They may be really critical places as well. And all of these, right, when you put a mark down on a piece of paper or another mark, right, how those marks relate to this structure is going to a certain degree affect how those marks work. And stop moving so much, Lucy. You're shifting side to side. Okay? Does everyone understand that? Okay, so we've talked about mark making, and we've talked about page and surface, okay? And that should be enough for you to be able to get started on your sketchbook work and to get ready to begin for the other parts of this unit. All right, that's the end of the video. Thank you. I'll see you in Unit 2.